Be me. 23. Decent looking guy. Not model tier but not ugly either. Work a normal desk job at a mid-sized company. The kind of place where HR sends passive-aggressive emails about the kitchen. Coworker Lisa starts a book club, calls it Feminist Friday reads. Mandatory participation strongly encouraged by management. Attendance is optional, but your performance review is not. First meeting is in the break room. Lisa prints out discussion questions on pink paper. Question 1 is how do men benefit from the patriarchy at work? I write down free pens from the supply closet as my answer. Nobody laughs. The book is about a woman who discovers her husband is secretly traditional. Not abusive, not mean, just cooks dinner and opens doors. The book treats this like a horror story. I keep my opinions behind my teeth. Weeks pass. I say nothing. I nod. I survive. One Thursday afternoon the elevator breaks. Building has 6 floors. I take the stairs every day already because I go to the gym. No big deal. On the 3rd floor landing I pass Raj from accounting. He is wheezing like a dying engine. I slow down and ask if he is okay. He waves me off and says he is fine. His face says he is not fine. We walk the rest of the stairs together. Raj is 54 and has not exercised since the Clinton administration. He tells me about his heart doctor. I listen. We get to the top. Raj says thanks man. Needed that. Nothing profound. Just 2 guys walking upstairs together. I forget about it by lunch. Friday book club meeting. Lisa announces the new book is about emotional labor. Emotional labor, for those who do not know, is when women have to manage other people's feelings. The book argues men never do this. I think about Raj on the stairs. I do not say anything. The meeting drags on. Someone named Priya says men are emotionally unavailable. I design. Someone named Tyler immediately agrees to prove he is one of the good ones. I watch Tyler agree with everything for 40 minutes straight. I think Tyler has a crush on someone in the room. I say nothing. Meeting ends. I go back to my desk. I have 47 unread emails. None of them are about feminism. All of them are somehow still exhausting. Next week Raj brings me a coffee. Just sets it on my desk without a word. Gives me a nod. Walks away. I drink the coffee. This is apparently what male friendship looks like, and I think it is enough. Months pass. The book club finishes the emotional labor book. Lisa announces the next one is about wage gaps. I have opinions about wage gaps. I keep them in the same drawer as my opinions about everything else. The meeting starts. Lisa asks if anyone has experienced pay discrimination. 2 women raise their hands immediately. I believe them. I say nothing. Then Lisa looks at me directly. Asks what I think about male privilege in salary negotiations. The room goes quiet. Tyler is already nodding. I think for a second. I say I think negotiating is a skill and not everyone is taught it equally. I say that is a real problem we're fixing. Lisa waits for me to say something she can argue with. I do not give her the ammunition. She moves on. Tyler looks disappointed. I did not self-flagellate. I go back to my desk. A few days later, I am on the bus home. The 6:15. Always crowded. Always smells like ambition and regret. I sit near the back because I am not a monster. The bus lurches. A woman standing near the door loses her grip. She stumbles but catches the pole. Nobody moves. Nobody offers their seat. I am already standing up. I gesture to my seat. She hesitates. I say please. I stand all day anyway. It is genuinely nothing. She sits down. Woman next to her leans over and whispers something. The woman who sat down smiles a little. I stand holding the pole and watch the city go by. A guy across from me catches my eye. He gives me a slight nod. I nod back. We do not speak. This is also enough. 3 stops later a woman gets on. She is carrying the heavy bags and a toddler. The toddler is attempting to escape. She is losing. I step forward and hold the overhead rail so she has room. She does not need my seat. She needs space. I give her space. The toddler makes eye contact with me and screams. Toddlers are honest at least. The woman manages to get settled. She gives me a tired, grateful look. I nod. I go back to watching the city. Get home. Make dinner. Eat alone. Read something. Go to sleep. The next Feminist Friday book is about how modern men have emotionally checked out. The author argues men have stopped trying to connect with women. Stop putting in effort. Stop chasing. The book calls this a crisis. Lisa kicks off the discussion with why do you think men have given up? Tyler says toxic masculinity has made men afraid of vulnerability. Priya says dating apps have made men lazy. Someone else says men were never really trying anyway. I raise my hand. The room goes quiet again. This is unusual because I usually say nothing. I say what if some men just got tired of the effort not being mutual? I say it calmly. No edge in my voice, just a question. Lisa tilts her head. She says men have always been the ones who are supposed to pursue. I say who decided that? She pauses. Priya says biology. I say so when it is convenient. Biology is a valid explanation. She starts to answer. I say I am genuinely asking. I am not trying to be difficult. Tyler jumps in. Men stopping the pursuit is just men punishing women for having standards. I look at Tyler. I say, or it is men realizing they also get to have standards. The room shifts slightly. Lisa says men's standards are usually just about looks. I say and women's standards are never superficial. Nobody answers that one. I say I am not saying men are victims. I say I am saying exhaustion is not a conspiracy. I say sometimes people stop trying because trying never worked. Lisa says that is giving up. I say, or it is self-respect. She does not have an answer ready for that. Meeting ends 10 minutes early. Nobody says anything on the way out. Tyler does not look at me. Priya catches me in the hallway. She says that was interesting in there. I say I hope it was okay. She says it was actually kind of refreshing. She says we never really get pushback that is not just anger. I say I am not angry. She says I know. That is the part that was weird. I laugh a little. She laughs too. We walk back to our desks. Nothing dramatic happens. Just to people who work together. The next week the book club does not happen. Lisa sends an email saying she needs time to rethink the format. Tyler replies, all would take all the time you need. You are so strong. I delete the email. Raj comes by my desk again. Sets down another coffee. Sits in the spare chair. Says heard you stirred things up in the book thing. I say I just asked a question. He says apparently that is stirring things up now. We sit for a minute. He says my wife thinks I do not do enough emotional labor. I say do you think she is right? He thinks about it. He says probably yes and no. I say yeah. He says yeah. We drink our coffees. He goes back to accounting. I go back to my emails. The book club restarts 3 weeks later. New format. Open discussion. No assigned reading. Lisa says she wants it to be more of a dialogue. I suspect she means she wants more control over the dialogue. I come anyway. The topic is what do men actually want from relationships? Lisa frames it as a feminist inquiry. I think it is actually just a genuinely interesting question. People start answering on behalf of men. Tyler answers on behalf of men. Tyler is the only man in the room who answers for 15 minutes. I finally say, do you want to ask us? Lisa looks surprised. She says, okay, what do you want? I think about it honestly. I say to not have to prove I am not the villain before I have done anything. The room is very quiet. I say I want to be seen as a person first. I say not a representative of some category. I say just a guy who takes the stairs and drinks bad coffee and sometimes helps people on buses. Lisa looks like she is processing something. Priya is writing something down. Tyler looks like he disagrees but cannot figure out why. Lisa says, do you think women do not want that too? I say I think everyone wants that. I say I do not think it is a competition. She nods slowly. She says fair. Just that. Fair. The meeting ends. It is the first one that does not feel like a tribunal. People linger a little. There is actual conversation. On the bus home, I get a seat this time. I sit by the window, watch the city again. The woman who sat in my seat 3 weeks ago gets on. She sees me. She gives a small nod. I nod back. She goes to the back. Small things, just small things. At home I make dinner again. Rice and eggs, nothing impressive. I think about the meeting. I think about what Lisa said at the very beginning months ago. That question about how men benefit from the patriarchy. I think I do benefit from some things. I think I am also exhausted by some things. I think both of those can be true. I think the story where men are only villains is incomplete. I think the story where women are only complainers is also incomplete. I think most people are just tired and doing their best. I clean my dishes, I go to bed. Monday morning. Raj is in the elevator, when I get in. The elevator is fixed now. He presses 6, I press 6, we both press 6. He says, "You ever think about getting married again?" I say I was not married before. He says, "Oh, I assumed." I say I had been close a few times. He says, "What happened?" I think about the honest answer. I say I think I kept waiting to feel like enough before I try. He is quiet for a second. He says, "My wife said something like that once," from the other side. I say, "What did she mean?" He says, "She said she kept waiting for me to act like I was enough." The elevator opens, we both get out. He says, "Funny how that works." I say, "Yeah." I sit at my desk, I open my emails. 47 again, always 47. I start from the top. Lisa stops by around 11. She says, "Hey." I say, "Hey." She says, "I have been thinking about what you said." I say, "Which part?" She says, "The part about being seen as a person first." She says, "I think I have not always done that in how I run the meetings." I say, "I think you care a lot and sometimes that comes out sideways." She laughs a little. She says, "That is a kind way to put it." I say, "For what it is worth, the questions you ask are real questions." I say, "I just want to be able to answer them honestly without it being a trap." She says, "That is fair." There is that word again. She says, "Would you actually want to help shape the next discussion?" I say, "Maybe." I say, "What is the topic?" She says, "We were thinking about fathers." I say, "Yeah. Okay, I will help with that one." She smiles, not the meeting smile, a real one. She goes back to her desk. Priya passes me in the hallway later. She says, "Lisa told me you are helping with the next one." I say, "Apparently." She says, "Good. We need someone who is not Tyler." I say, "Tyler means well." She says, "Tyler means well for himself." I laugh. The father's discussion happens 2 weeks later. It is different. I help write 3 of the questions. One of them is, what do we lose, or we only talk about fathers as failures. Another is, who taught you what a good man looks like. The third one is, what do sons need that we are not talking about. The room is quieter than usual at the start. Someone named Dana talks about her dad for 10 minutes. Nobody interrupts. It is the realest the meetings have ever felt. Tyler talks about his dad too. His dad left when he was 8. Tyler has clearly never said this out loud in a group before. Is voiced as a thing voices do when that happens. Nobody makes it weird. I talk about my uncle. Not my dad. My uncle. How he showed me that being a man did not mean being stone. That he cried at movies and fixed engines, and both of those were the same person. Lisa is writing notes. Priya is nodding. The room feels like a room full of people instead of a room full of positions. Meeting runs over by 20 minutes. Nobody leaves early. That has never happened before. On the bus home, I am tired in a good way. The kind of tired that comes from actually doing something. Not the kind that comes from surviving something. I think about what Raj said in the elevator, waiting to feel like enough. I think I have been doing that for years in different ways. I think maybe enough is not a destination. I think maybe it is just what you are while you are doing things. I think this sounds like something from a greeting card. I think it is still probably true. I get home. I do not make rice and eggs. I actually cook something. Pasta with actual sauce, the kind that takes 40 minutes. I put music on. I eat at the table instead of the couch. Small difference, still a difference. The next morning Raj texts me. He never texts me. The text says, "Wife wants to know if you want to come to dinner sometime." I stare at it for a second. I text back, "Yeah, I would really like that." He sends a thumbs up. I put my phone down. I take the stairs, 6 floors. The same 6 floors as always. I am not tired at the top. I get to my desk, open my emails. 47 again. I start from the top. Just like always, just like every day. The city outside the window does its thing. People move through it, most of them just trying to get somewhere. Most of them tired in ordinary ways. Most of them not villains, most of them not heroes either. Just people doing the thing, showing up. And sometimes that is actually enough.